Hello everybody, Reggie Time here, and in just a moment we're going to be looking at some hands I played last night on the Sky 20NL and 30NL streets. Um, Please, if you enjoy my content, hit the like. If you're not a subscriber, hit the subscribe button and leave some comments as well, please. It helps the videos do well. I only do this as like an old man's hobby. I guess I just a bit of an attention whore. So yeah, indulge me by hitting those buttons, please, and leaving comments. Now we're about to start on this bottom left table with the Ace Jack suited, unknown opener under the gun. Um, Iron Ahad, who doesn't deserve the same tag as Water Taxi, he's going to get an upgrade during the video to yellow. Um, both calling. I don't think either of these guys are particularly strong ranges at this point. I expect Ace Jack to be ahead of a lot of the stuff that they're flatting with. I don't think, for example, Ainaha has like a stronger hand than Ace Jack here very often. He has pocket pairs and what have you, but he doesn't have us dominated. Neither does this guy. I think it's a pretty clean squeeze spot, and that's pretty much what we're about to do. I've put this a little bit faster. Last video it seemed to take a little bit too long and it was doing me fucking nutting. So we've sped it up. We could maybe even speed it up a little bit more, but we'll leave it where we are for now. And we get two folds, and then we get Water Taxi coming along with the call, and we get the King 9 Jack flop. I think on balance, probably means we have the best hand now. Water Taxi, guess you could have some King X that calls and calls again at the small blind, some like suited kings maybe. You could definitely have pocket nines too, not pocket jacks, not pocket kings, etc. Um, it's just whether we're going to bet this flop or not, and if so, for what size. Um, I think if we get check raised, we have a pretty safe fold on this board. But I'm not expecting to get raised very often at all. I think we end up going with a relatively small bet here, just to like price some calls from Jack 10 suited, Jack Queen suited, anything with a 10 or a Queen in it that's like a gut shot. Maybe even some like Ace 10s, something like that. We do go with a small bet. He calls, turn King. Should be a really good card for us, doesn't change anything. And I don't think he's got too much King X, but I also don't think there's a great deal of value in betting again. Maybe there is, maybe we can just bet small again in hindsight. Um, Maybe just like I don't know. I know a lot of people don't like betting small in position, especially on later streets. But I think maybe we could get away with like a little 1/3 pot bet here. I ended up checking back though, and we river the ace, which only really improves Queen 10. So doesn't improve, it does improve Queen 10. It improves Queen 10 to a straight. Doesn't change anything. I'm talking out of my ass. And then did we bet and he folded? Yeah, that hand was a clusterfuck. Hopefully the rest of them will be a bit more when I got comments on. I'm not sure how much I enjoyed how we played that hand. Here we've opened pocket queens under the gun to 3x with a very recreational play in the blinds. He donks out on 4-4x, nothing to do other than call. I don't think. Maybe we could contemplate some raises to get value from his like weaker over pairs. Maybe, but I think just calling and letting him do his thing is a good strategy in general. Call again. And on the River King, there really is no value in raising anymore. Maybe we could have considered raising the turn for the same reasons as the flop. Get value from over pairs that we're ahead of, get value from flush draws, etc. Now I don't think there's anything to do other than call, and we just have to hope that our liners encourage him to value bet thinly or continue bluffing with whatever he was bluffing with. And he was indeed bluffing, so go us, we won the maximum. Next time we're down on this table again, we have the ace queen of black this time, and we're going to be going for a squeeze again. We have Chalky here, very aggressive. I think more of a tournament player than he is a cash game player. Yeah, let's just leave it there. He does some funky stuff, and then 8 million people have called. So we're going to have a lovely little squeeze up here with the ace queen suited. We make it 22 big blinds, which I think is very reasonable given like there's already 240, 250, 270 in the pot. We could maybe even think about going bigger here. Um, certainly not any smaller, I don't think. Bev is in the tank, and Bev called 4 bets to 50 big blinds. And now we're in a pickle because we have a green tag player who's called 4 bet to 50 big blinds, and we have a very good hand. So what are you doing? What are you doing in this spot, Bev? I had no reads on Bev other than the tagged green, which means I've either seen them limp a few times, I've seen them play without a full stack, or I've just seen them do things that maybe is outside of any kind of reasonable theory. So what are we doing with the ace queen? I actually thought I took too long over that fold. I think it's a trivial fold. When anyone just called force to 50 big blinds in a spot like that, it's impossible to balance that with bluffs. Um, really hard. No one's doing it. I imagine all in or fold is going to be the play there nearly all of the time. Versus all in, I still wouldn't have called, but I would be more likely to call versus an all in, hoping you just had a hand like pocket jacks or pocket tens or something like that, and then we're flipping with some dead money in there. Rather than that, I think when they make it 50 there, even though we've got blockers to pocket aces, I think that is just pocket aces. 80 plus, 85%, 90% plus of the time. And when it's not pocket aces, it's pocket kings. So I think we had a very easy fold there, but it was quite an annoying spot. And I was pleased that I found the fold. Just don't know why it took me so long. Now we're up on this top right hand side table against Gutters, who's a seems to play every night. He's very, very aggressive. The man likes fighting. The man likes fighting for pots. He makes games good. He's good for the games, and I'm not going to say a single bad word about him. Here we've 3 bet him with the aces. Incredibly good flop for us. I mean, it is Gutters. He could definitely have some like 5-6 suited here, 5-4 suited, etc. But whatever, we're not going to be scared of anything like that. I bet small here, hoping because Gutters is so aggressive that he will fast play a made hand, like say that if he's got a 10 or something like that, or maybe he'll just bluff because he'll see this size as a weakness. I just wanted to reopen the betting basically and give him opportunities to be aggressive with worse hands. And we got what we wanted in terms of a raise, but it's a small raise. I think our options here now are: do we like go for another small raise back? Do we make this just like £7, or do we just call and see if we can get more aggression from on later streets? I think like making it 7 here is quite interesting because we just always stack a 10 when we do that, and he shouldn't have much 5x. I mean, we've pretty much always got the nuts here. But if he is bluffing, which I think he could be doing at quite a high frequency, then obviously we fold all of those out. So I did end up just going with the call. Turn 8 shouldn't change very much. He checks at this point. I'm like, okay, he's just. Has he got a bluff he's giving up on, or he's got some kind of weak showdown value hand? Maybe like just some small pocket pairs, threes, fours, threes, fours, sixes, sevens, what have you, that type of thing. And then just a lot of air that he decided to raise versus that small bet with and now give up with. I bet small again, and again this is just to maybe give him chance to like do something reckless. He just calls. So at this point we can be pretty confident he has some kind of made hand, you would imagine. 10x would make some sense. Pocket nines. Who knows what? I don't think he's very strong. I think he's in one pair land most of the time. Maybe even some like really stubborn, like I don't know, like a Queen Jack, like Queen Jack of Hearts, something like that. I don't know, but I think he's going to be pretty weak and very capped here. Um, and I think I should at this point just go all in, or make like a really big bet. I think I make a mistake here because I end up trying one last time to get him to do something reckless. But I think this just gives him too much of an easy call with all these like one pair hands. And I think he's going to pay more with his one pair hands too. So I think this is a big mistake. I was trying to induce a jam, and I think that's a mistake. And I'm not sure if we're going to see. Yeah, we are. Maybe we don't win. When you see what he had, maybe we don't win that much more in the hand. He only had 2 sevens. But I think we probably could have made a slightly bigger river bet and got called. Right, here on the ace, king queen again here against gutters again. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention Swogs at the table. Swogs, someone I chat with nearly every day about poker. He's he thinks he's good, but he can't be that good because he just plays tournaments. And everyone knows that if you're a bad poker player, you play tournaments, and if you're a good poker player, you don't. So we all know Swog isn't that good at poker. But when he sits to my left and wants to make life difficult for me, it's annoying because he is a thinking player and he is there. And he was probably there in like in a Discord group, sharing his screen, saying "Watch me bin reg," and like rubbing his little cock off something chronic. I like Swog. I do feel sorry for him though because he does have a pair of ginger bollocks and he's in a relationship where the woman makes most of the important decisions. It's a shame for him. So it's not surprising he likes to come to the poker table and try and flex his muscles because he probably doesn't get to flex, at home very often, and that's a shame. But it is what it is. He was definitely dicking around with me a little bit, but he's not in this pot, thankfully. Well, maybe not thankfully, given what's about to happen. So Gutters leads. We're just going to call with our 2 overs and our straight draw. We know Gutters is aggressive. We might have the best hand, and if we don't, we certainly have the best draw that turns into the nuts on the turn, which is delightful. Gutters bets again using a smallish sizing. Again, I'm just going to let Gutters do his thing here. Just not need to raise. But there is value to be had maybe on a race if he's got an ace or something. But we're going to get plenty of money off an ace on the river. So just I do a lot of just calling against Gutters with some like pretty marginal bluff catchers, so not really that bothered about starting to raise with some of my nutted hands, because I don't want to discourage him from like I'd say I always call my bluff catchers and he always raise with my nutted hands. Even like more recreational players would probably pick up on that at some point. Anyway, we get what we want. Gutters bets big on the river. We have the easiest jam in the history of poker. And sadly, we lose him, but never mind. Maybe we won the maximum against his just complete airballs. All right, this was at the same time pretty much. Oh yeah, I should go back and say you maybe noticed at this table while this hand was going on, I just check folded top pair, blind versus blind, 2 half pot. That was just me getting excited about up here and not concentrating down here. I don't typically fold top pair, blind versus blind, 2 half pot against a green tag. So that was just me not concentrating. It was not something I didn't consciously decide to fold the Jack 10. I was just, oh, we've got a really strong hand up here against someone who we might get paid by, and I just lost focus at this table. Anyways, we're back to this table now. Did we overlimp the deuces? I don't know. And yeah, whatever. I think we overlimped the deuces, so maybe we called an open. Anyway, we flopped basically the nuts. For a green tag player leading into us. We raise, he calls. I think we have to raise their multi-way. Lots of like turn cards we don't want to see, a 4, a 5, a red one, etc. It's a small pot. The blinds can certainly have like 5x and 4x in their range, flush draws, etc. So we raise, clear out any like good shots or things these people have, and hopefully just get it in at some point versus JDTT's ace-x or flush draws or what have you. He like leads the turn, which I think is a bit strange. You bet, call, flop, lead turn. This is usually when recreational players do this, it's either going to be like a top pair hand or it's going to be a draw a lot of the time. I think if they've got a stronger hand than that, I think they've got a two pair hand. I don't think they play this way. Just say they flop two pair on the flop. I think we just get three bet a lot. So I think this is just always going to be like draws and top pair, and they're never going to fold. So we just put the rest of the money in and win the money most of the time. He did have the draw this time, and we did a solid hold. Here we have the pocket kings with min raised under the gun. Big man with the call. Our friend of the channel, Slotter, is going to raise it up to 10 big blinds. I think this is maybe a little bit small. I would have preferred to go a tiny bit bigger with his squeezes. Slotter does get out of line versus me pre-flop. He's been 3-betting me a lot. He's clearly just having some fun with me. And that fair play to him for that. He enjoys the game. I enjoyed the game. We enjoy having a chat at the table. I think his raise should be a little bit bigger, but crucially, I think because it's a squeeze rather than just 3-betting my open, I think his range is going to be a lot stronger here than usual. He has a lot of like ace 5, ace 4 suited, suited connectors, things like that when he's 3-betting me. But I think on this occasion, because there's some more money in the pot and an extra player, this range is going to be so much tighter. I think it's going to be a lot of jacks, queens, tens, ace, queen, ace, king, all those types of things. It's going to be a pretty narrow, pretty nutted range. And I was like pretty comfortable going all in here. I thought he was going to call with a pretty high frequency because of what I thought about how he would be constructing his range here. I was tempted to just go to like £5, something like that. But I just thought, well, no, it's probably going to just have a hand that's just going to want to call because of the dynamic we have between the table. Because he knows I know he is like 3-betting some light hands. He's also going to know that I'm going to adjust by having some more 4-bets, etc. Maybe I'm overstating the dynamic, but I think that's what's going on. So let's just to go all in the end, make sure he doesn't get away from queens, jacks, on like ace or king high boards. Make sure that we get all the money in versus ace, king. Maybe he even flicks it in with ace, queen here, stuff like that. And so I thought all in was the best play given the dynamic that we enjoy at the table. Could be an overplay, but I think it's fine. I would definitely do this with like ace, king 2 and probably ace, queen suited in this dynamic. When the minute he types that, I know he's got a good hand. I know he's got a very, very good hand when he types that. I like to tell the truth. And he does have the ace king. And we do another solid hold. We were running good last night. We were running good. So we're on to the last hand. It's going to be the ace king offsuit on the top left table. What happened pre? Yeah, under the gun limped, and we ISO to 4x. Be checking back this flop multi-way against 2 green tags. Hit gin on the turn, hopefully. Make a pretty big bet. Just target worse ace-x, etc. It's never going to fold, and there's tons of draws that can call. Then we get the 7 on the river, so 8-9 gets there, but we're not going to worry about stuff like that. You can see there, I hovered over the 3/4 pot, then realised that it was only 1.5 times pot to shove. And if he's calling 3/4, he's probably calling 1.5. That was the logic I went with in the end. And our man goes in the tank and finally calls with that hand. And it was a good session. I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. I played for around 3 hours. I barely lost any big pots. I think if I had, they would have been in there. There was loads and loads of like much smaller pots. I was just chipping up nicely everywhere. It was just a nice session where we made some nice hands. We got paid, and then we also weren't put under too much pressure either. It was exactly what a Friday night should be all about. And it was really good. I enjoyed the session. I've been enjoying my poker a bit more lately after like what was a pretty well, very mediocre match, even though my results were good. Didn't enjoy playing much. I didn't have a particularly like hard-working attitude to it, and yeah, it was a good session. I'll be back on the Sky Streets tonight, recording more of this action, and yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying like the Sky. I know the last Sky video, you got a few positive comments, so I appreciate those, and yeah, don't forget if you have got this one, you've liked it, and you haven't hit the like yet, or you haven't left a comment, please do consider doing both, and I'd very much appreciate it. But we're off for now. Thanks very much for watching. Have a great rest of your weekend, and yeah, we'll catch up with you all pretty. Go on, Everton, scored a goal. No, catch up with you all pretty soon again. As always, fuck the Tories, and bye bye for now.